Hi, this is Nathan Cavedo from the Merced County Office of Education, your host for this episode of Community Conversations, a weekly radio show brought to you by KYOS. Community Conversations features local people talking about education, government, and community activities and issues in Merced County.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
All right, thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Our first guest this week is Char Herrera. She's the Executive Director of the Court-Appointed Special Advocates, more commonly known as CASA, here in Merced County, here to talk about the Merry Mallet Christmas Show and about how that will go to benefit CASA and the Merced County Food Bank. Char, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you are the Executive Director of CASA. I am familiar with this organization. You guys do great work with foster youth.
Yes.
Here in Merced County. But for folks who are unfamiliar with it, can you describe what the program is?
Yes, Court Appointed Special Advocates is a nonprofit program that is focused on supporting and meeting the needs of the foster youth in Merced County. And what we do is we train volunteers throughout the community to become advocates for these children. And our requirement is that they have to be at least 21 years of age and have a free background from criminal activity, that type of thing. And then they go through a training of 30 hours of classroom instruction and then 10 hours of observing in the courtroom. And once that's completed and they complete the final interview, then they are sworn in as an officer of the court.
And how long has this program been in Merced County?
You know, this particular program has only been in Merced just over 2 years now. It was 2010, I believe, in September when we got our 501c3 status.
So a fairly new program.
Yes.
And I guess why was it started? How did you guys find the need for this?
Well, it actually rose out of the Blue Ribbon Commission on Foster Youth, and that is a community committee that is made up of judges, attorneys, probation, HSA, county people, and they saw the need for this, and that was their goal, was to bring CASA into Merced County.
So you are, as the executive director, you're in charge of making sure that these volunteers are trained correctly, that you have enough volunteers, and that you're constantly recruiting new volunteers.
Constantly. We at this time we have trained 54 volunteers, which is terrific for the amount of time that we've been here. And those 50 volunteers are actually providing support to actually, as of today, probably about 75 children.
Wow.
But the problem is we have another 80 on the waiting list. So we do 3 trainings a year. Mm-hmm. Our next training will begin January 24th. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for new recruits who want to donate a little bit of time and truly make a difference in the life of a child.
And how could folks get in touch with you about that?
Our phone number is 722-CASA, which is 722-2272. And our office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
And so let's talk about this upcoming event at the Christian Life Center.
Yes, I'm really excited because CASA is going to benefit from this, but also because it just looks like it's going to be a tremendous event. Mm-hmm. It's called the Merry Mallet Christmas. It will be held on December 15th at 7 o'clock at the Christian Life Center. And it will be a concert that is put on by Alan Spencer and the Marimba Choir. Alan Spencer is actually a band director or music teacher here in Merced City School District.
Mm-hmm.
He
at Tenaya, I believe.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also involved in a few other things, such as the symphony and UC Merced musicals, that type of thing. And so he is a tremendous musician himself. So they will be playing music that uses a variety of instruments, which include the xylophone, marimba, the glockenspiel. They'll also have some vocalists there and actually some ballerinas as well.
And if the listeners have never seen someone perform a glockenspiel, it is truly an interesting instrument, as is a xylophone. If someone can really play a xylophone, that is a treat. So, and that again is on December 14th?
December 15th. At 7 p.m. at the Christian Life Center. And the reason that CASA is going to benefit from this is that tickets are $10 a piece, and they're being asked to bring an unwrapped toy or a food item that can be used for the Merced County Food Bank.
Right. So the concert will benefit both CASA and the Merced County Food Bank. And I've taken a tour of the county food bank. It is quite an operation. You know, talk about an organization that is really in need and that provides a great service to the whole county. They feed people who are, for one reason or another, on hard times. And they really do provide quite a service. So, again, that one's December 15th, and that's at the Christian Life Center there on Olive. And you said Alan Spencer. And I thought there was someone else on the lineup there.
There is. There's, I'm going to forget his name. He plays a guitar, and he plays for the Merced 70. Again, I've heard he's a terrific John Albano.
Yes,
thank you. I knew it was going to come.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if it was him or not. So John Albano, I've actually seen him play quite a few times, and that guy is a terrific guitarist.
And I'd like to say that, you know, Alan Spencer, if you haven't heard him playing these instruments and that, he does a terrific job. He is very musically inclined with many different instruments. And he's even been asked to play in the Carnegie Hall in New York in April. So you know this is going to be a great show.
Definitely. And do you know offhand where tickets are available?
Tickets, we actually have them in our office, in the CASA office, so anyone can stop by there and purchase one.
And where's that located?
It's 2824 Park Avenue, Suite A. And we can also, there's a phone number that they can call for tickets, and that's 233-9805. It's also possible to get tickets at the Hope Christian Bookstore here in Merced.
Mm-hmm. So we've got this event coming up, and then I know you guys had a hoedown over on the west side for CASA.
Yes.
How did that go?
Oh, that was great. We had a great crowd that evening, and lots of great music by Tim Johnson and the Sierra Riders. It was a wonderful event. If we could just get rid of the mosquitoes, it would have been perfect.
Yeah, Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate. So, Char, we just have another minute or two left here. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, again, I want to say thank you to Tina Williams, who is coordinating this event for Alan, and to Alan for thinking of CASA as a recipient, a beneficiary of this concert. And I encourage everyone to go. It's a great family event.
So again, the tickets are $10 for the event that is December 15th at the Christian Life Center. Starts at 7 p.m.
Correct.
And guests are asked to bring an unwrapped toy and some non-perishable food items for the Merced County Food Bank. And again, that toy will go to a foster youth here in Merced County. So Char, thanks for joining us. Char Herrera, Executive Director of Court-Appointed Special Advocates.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest this week is Noelle Chandler. She is the Education Director at Playhouse Merced, here to talk about a play that she actually wrote, The Science of Color, which a lot of kids in Merced County will have the opportunity to see. Noelle, thanks for joining us.
Hi there.
So, I hear you wrote a play.
This is true. I've written lots of plays. It happens quite often. But we're very lucky and fortunate to have this one be as popular as it is throughout Merced County.
So let's talk about the Science of Color. I had the opportunity to see the performance, and it was in probably one of the most rural schools I've ever been to, in Volta. Which is near Los Banos, but still way the heck out in the country.
Yeah.
And I saw the performance. I understand that you wrote it with the third and fourth grade science standards in mind.
That's true. We've been running touring shows through Playhouse Merced for actually a very long time. When I came here as an intern in 2005 working for Playhouse Merced, it was the intern's job to put up and then tour a show to various schools. Now, as the intern program got phased out and as schools' budgets have decreased, it's gotten harder for us to get live performance into the schools. But very fortunately, this year we have a relationship with MCOE that's allowing them to kind of take over some of the funds so that schools can afford it. MCOE is paying half, the district is paying half. So it's really quite amazing to see. And we get to write pieces that adhere to various standards, which makes them very, very sellable, if you will, and highly educational. And then show the kids live theater that is applicable to what they're learning in class. So it's a really effective learning tool, as well as an effective way to get them involved in performance and appreciating theater.
So the partnership is with the MCOE Foundation.
Yes.
And with a variety of school districts. I think you guys are doing, I know it's more than 40 performances.
Yes, that's correct. 40 was originally what we had talked about, and then it's gone higher and higher, and people have been nice enough to let that happen, that the foundation continues to offer the funds, and the districts continue to be able to pay for half of the shows that they perform. So.
And when you look at other activities, especially visual and performing arts and enrichment in that sense for schools, this has a pretty cheap price tag.
It does. We actually perform for $200 per performance.
And I know that the MCOE Foundation covers half of that, and then the school district covers the other half. So to give students in a school that opportunity to see a performing arts show, and for the school to only have to pay $100, that is quite a deal.
It really is. And it's something that we've always tried to make affordable. And what we used to do was, it never had anything to do with the standards at all. The show, we would do fairy tales, we do Beauty and the Beast, we do Little Mermaid, things like that, and tour those through the schools. And yes, it's literature, but mostly it's about the experience of live theater. We've been putting it more and more toward those learning standards, since we're trying to make it so that the schools can justify in their budget putting some of their funds towards this, because we think the arts are important. And the schools think so too, but it's become more and more difficult for them to kind of funnel their funds towards us. So this really allows them to get that done.
Well, in a lot of schools, it's no secret that these are tough budget times for education in general.
Yeah.
Proposition 30 passed, but all that did was restore some of the funding. We're going to have flat funding. We're not getting any more money.
Right, exactly.
So a lot of schools have had to either reduce or completely cut their art programs. And when I say art, it includes music, performing arts, the whole gamut.
Right.
So having that, when I went to Volta, I wrote a press release about this, and it ran in some of the papers, but I was able to interview one of the students out there, Kurt. And I asked Kurt if he had ever seen a play, and he hadn't. That was the first time he had ever seen a play. He said he would love to see more. He would love it if they were based on science or based on math, anything, just to see another performance where they get the students involved. So let's talk a little bit of, you have two actors that are in this play.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about the play and what it's about.
Well, The Science of Color is two actors, your kind of friendly local scientists, if you will. And that's Michelle Cattell and Danielle Rodriguez, who both work for me. Michelle works for Playhouse, and Danielle is one of my main teachers at the conservatory at Playhouse Merced. And they go out and they basically explain several basic color phenomena. So we're talking about, why is the sky blue? Why is fire red, generally? And why is the grass green? And Mike, or Michelle, goes and explains it mostly from a mythological standpoint. Here are some of the basic myths as to why these things are the colors that they are. And then Danielle comes in and they explain it from a scientific standpoint. And you get a lot of the vocabulary of the science. And then you get a lot of activities as well. There's, I'm sure you saw the wiffle balls being chucked across stage. And this is a prop heavy show is what we call this. It's all about what you can do to visually make your point.
Well, and it seems like that's very age appropriate too.
I think so, absolutely. And everything I've gotten from teachers that have seen it has been, this is the kind of thing, this is how I remember being taught blank, is that we saw a performance and it stuck with me that, if only the green wiffle ball is getting through, then that's the only one that's being absorbed. And so that one is the reason why blank is green or whatever.
Sure.
So, I mean, having a physical representation that you can see and that kids can get on stage and participate in helps them to understand the principles behind the science.
So how long does something like that take for you to write?
This is a loaded question in some ways, because like I said, I write a lot of pieces for the Playhouse and for the conservatory. So I thought about it for probably a good 2-3 weeks, did research. I actually wrote the piece in about a day and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't take a long time for me to sit down and write it as long as I've got the research in my pocket. But it's because it's something since I became education director in January 2008, I've been the one in charge of writing the pieces that go out in our community. So this is something I've kind of got under my belt. It's a skill that I have.
So it's something, definitely something you're used to. You've done similar projects a couple times now.
Absolutely. So it's something that I enjoy doing, but the research, of course, always has to be done. So that was the hardest part.
And you focused on science standards.
I did, and that was just kind of to break it up a little bit. We tend to do literature. Last year we put out Shakespeare, and while it did pertain to kind of the early throes of literature that you see in the, as fifth grade kind of works their way into that kind of language, it wasn't as applicable. Whereas science, it's really hard to ignore the fact that these are coming directly out of the standards. So I wanted to give that a try and see if that went over and was as popular or less popular than something literature-based. And so far, it's looking like it's a very popular show.
So if that we have about twice that many schools in Merced County. We'd love to have a show at every single school, but at this time, that's just not going to happen.
Right.
What if there's a teacher or an educator who's listening to this show and they want to bring it to, they say, hey, we can find this $200. Where would they contact you? How would they get in touch with you?
Well, they would call me at Playhouse Merced. They would call 209-725-8587, ask for Noelle Chandler. If I'm not there, leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or you can email me at point, POINT, .your, TOES, at gmail.com. That's point.your.toes@gmail.com.
We've got just another minute or so here, Noelle. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Is your role as education director at Playhouse Merced or other projects you're working on?
Well, just to generally encourage teachers that if they're interested in putting arts back in their classroom, that they can contact me. Whether it's just a one-time thing of me coming in to speak to them, I have sheets available for teachers and instructors that just give them some basic ways to utilize drama and dramatic play in their classroom within their lesson that could A, serve to break up their day, and B, help them increase their children's interest in the lesson plan and engagement in what they're talking about. So even if it's as simple as that, if they have no funds, I can come in and do that for them. Or I'm happy to develop an in-class program or an after-school program based on whatever funds that you have. We are very flexible, and we want to be out there in the schools helping to increase the, I don't want to say popularity of arts, but the presence of arts in Merced County. So that's really what I'm about. So give me a call, shoot me an email, let me know what I can do for you.
Well said. All right. Well, I hope to have you on again soon to talk about how we get a play in every single school in Merced County, because we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. Noelle Chandler, Education Director at Playhouse Merced. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. All right, we have the second part of a two-part segment with Adam Miller, Managing Director over at the Merced Theater, to talk about the other events we have going on through the holiday season. Adam, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
So we left off last time, let's see, on Sons of the San Joaquin. That was Saturday, December 8th. So now we have moved to, well, what's after that?
Well, on Friday, December the 14th, we have the Christmas tradition, A Christmas Story. Red Ryder, BB guns, and everything will be around the theater. And we are actually one of the very first theaters to have A Christmas Story 2 in the theater. So we'll be doing a double feature. $10 ticket for both movies. Be a great night.
Yeah, A Christmas Story. That reminds me of being a little kid. I don't know about this Christmas Story 2, though. I'll have to see it.
Yeah, come on down. You know, it's a great way to see it on the big screen and see it the way it was meant to be seen.
And a double feature, huh?
A double feature.
Wow. And so that one starts at 7 p.m. on Friday, December 14th. And then the next evening, you have a choir.
Yes, sir. We have the Pacific Boy Choir with the Singers Company. The Boy Choir is based out of Oakland, and they are actually world-renowned and they're Grammy Award-winning. When we first met them, they just got back from a multi-week trip to Spain. So these guys have sung all around the nation and all around the world. So we're pleased to have them, and they're also going to be singing with a local group called the Singers Company, which is an all-girl choir that is a non-competitive choir. So we're very excited to have both of those groups at the theater.
So they're a non-competitive choir, so then I can't say it's the boys against the girls that night.
Correct.
Okay. And then moving forward a little bit further here, Friday, December 21st, you have another Christmas classic.
Yes, we're showing Clark Griswold and the Christmas tradition, A Christmas Vacation.
The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
Definitely one of my favorites. Chevy Chase really does a number on the family in that one.
That's one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies.
And the next night, you have The Polar Express with Tom Hanks. And pretty interesting movie, very graphical, lots of... I think that was one of the first films that really utilized that technology of having actors and then turning it into an animated movie.
Yeah, we're extremely excited because a lot of movies like that we're not able to get because they're associated with bigger production companies. So we're going to do it Saturday, December the 22nd at 2 o'clock. So that way families can come out and see it and still have time to do evening plans being the holiday weekend.
Yes, that's definitely going to be a pretty big holiday weekend. And tickets for these movies, it looks like the doubleheader is a little bit more.
The doubleheader is a little bit more because you're getting two movies, so we double our ticket price. You know, it's $10 if you see one or both, and then our standard movies are $5. So you can't beat that price.
No, that is a pretty phenomenal price. And then the next day, Sunday, December 23rd, also at 2 p.m., you have the classic A Christmas Carol.
Yes,
and that's the 1938 version.
That is the 1938 version. We're excited to have that because we're hitting a little bit of all the Christmas classics this season. Again, a 2 o'clock show. This will be our first 2 o'clock Sunday movie since we've reopened. Christmas weekend, so be a great way to spend the weekend.
And then the next day, which is Christmas Eve, Monday the 24th, you have another 2 p.m. show, and that is another big classic, Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes, we're doing the original Miracle on 34th Street. We're trying to start an annual Christmas tradition, kind of like we tried to start with Home Alone on the day before Thanksgiving. Every Christmas Eve, 2 o'clock, we're going to have Miracle on 34th Street. We're even trying to plan on, maybe trying to get Santa Claus to make an appearance for all the kids, trying to make it a really big event.
I bet you could probably get Santa to come out before, because he's going to be pretty busy that night, but during the day at 2 p.m. he might have some time.
I would hope so.
And then the following Friday, the 28th, you have one of my favorite 80s movies, The Gremlins.
Yes.
So it looks like you have quite a few holiday films lined up here for the end of December. And then I'm looking here on the calendar, and you got some other stuff going on. You got stuff in January, and then you mentioned something in March.
Yes, this will be the first time that this has been publicly announced. On March 16th, the Merced Theater Foundation will be presenting Frank D'Ambrosio's Broadway. For those of you that are theater fans, you'll know that Frank D'Ambrosio is the longest-running Phantom of the Opera. I've actually had the pleasure of working with him for 2 years when I was in Italy. Very great guy, very phenomenal, very skilled actor. He's going to be doing a performance on the March the 16th at 8 o'clock, where he'll literally start with early Broadway and go all the way through hits of his Phantom career. And then the other exciting thing is we are doing, it's called A Call for Christine, where we are looking for Christine and Raul. So basically what auditioners can do is they'll submit a video to the Merced Theater Foundation, and we, the foundation and Frank, will go through and we'll select the top 5 finalists. The top 5 finalists will then each receive a pair of tickets to the event, and then there will also be a master class and live finals on March 15th, the Friday the day before, at 4 o'clock at the theater, where the finalists will then audition live in front of everyone with Frank, and then Frank will select the winner, and then he will also coach the winners on singing All I Ask of You from Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're doing it as our 1-year anniversary celebration. It worked out. Frank was in California at the time, and to do the competition just to make it even bigger, be a great night of 2 great nights of events.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any idea on the pricing yet? Have you guys worked that out?
The pricing's it's a fundraiser event for us as well. So the tickets are going to the most expensive ticket will be a $60 ticket, but it looks like that's going to include hors d'oeuvres and possibly an open bar. But there's also going to be a $20 ticket that is for the event only. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a ticket price range that you can
kind of tiered.
Yeah. So you can spend a little or you can spend a lot.
Wow. So, yes, all of this information is available online.
www.mercedtheater.org, and theater is spelled R-E.
And thanks for announcing that on this show. First time we got the first stab.
You're very welcome for that exclusive. You've been asking for one for a long time.
Okay, well, thanks so much. Always a pleasure. Adam Miller, Managing Director of the Merced Theater.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to KYOS. This is Community Conversations. Our next guest is Philip Schmaus. He is the Director of Marketing and Events for the Merced County Rescue Mission. Philip, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
So let's see here. We're in the holiday season, in the throes of it. And over at the Rescue Mission, I know you guys do a lot of stuff around the holidays, especially. Can you talk a little bit about what the Merced County Rescue Mission does and its mission?
Sure. The Rescue Mission, on a yearly basis, we are all about caring for people. And we do that through a food program, we do that through a shelter program, and we also do it through a recovery program, a 12-month live-in program for people that have been incarcerated or may have been struggling with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and so we try to get them back to be functioning members of society. Mm-hmm. One thing we try to do throughout the community is serve as a bridge. It's very important to us to realize that this isn't our work. This is the work of Merced County. And it takes everybody in the county to come together and support us to do the services, to pull off the kind of services that we provide. We like to consider ourselves as a bridge between those who are in need and those who have. And we're just looking to connect the two groups together, really.
And I know that for Thanksgiving, you guys serve quite a few dinners.
You know, Thanksgiving was incredible this year. Let me tell you why. I was freaking out to count down to Thanksgiving. Like, serious, the donations were so low and down this year compared to last year. But I'm telling you, this last week as we entered the home stretch, this town rallied, man. Everybody in Merced County, we thank you so much for coming out in full force and supporting us. I just can't even tell you how blessed we are. We brought in 1,200 turkeys, and we started with like 3. Compared to the previous year going into the season, we had 300. And this year, you know, at the beginning of November, we only had 3. And by the last week, the day of Thanksgiving, we have 1,200. And it's just awesome. We know that month after month, everybody in this town, the citizens, are hit on a continuous basis from very worthy organizations, other nonprofits, not just the Rescue Mission. We know that they are hit with a plea month after month. Can you please give? Can you please give? And we understand that. But we want to thank our loyal supporters for just continuing to support us month after month, and especially during the holiday season.
And do you have an idea of how many people you fed on Thanksgiving?
Roughly, we're estimating we're still figuring out the numbers, because what we did was we provided gift baskets, and we sent out turkeys and stuffing and potatoes and stuff, and made like a complete meal in a box. So we're still tallying those numbers. But over at the Legion Hall, where we fed a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, it was about 2,500 people, men,
Wow.
women, and children.
Wow, that's quite a few people.
It was huge.
And I know that you have a Christmas Eve dinner, and that's also at the American Legion Hall.
Yes, it is. It's going to be at the American Legion Hall on Christmas Eve. That's at 939 West Main Street. And the rescue mission's looking for volunteers. If anyone out there would like to volunteer serve, come out. It's a great day. You could hand out clothes. You could hand out toys. You could serve up the food. Give me a call. My name's Phil Schmausch. That's 209-658-9558, and I'll put you on our volunteer serving list.
And what's the age range there for volunteers?
You know what? We encourage entire families to come out. If they're in elementary school, we just ask that they pair up and work beside their parent. But junior high and high school kids, we let them, do their own thing. It is a great educational learning experience for an entire family to participate in. If you've not seen how the other half lives, it's a great day to come out, to make them feel like regular folk, and to let them know they're loved in this community.
And I know that you're in need of a few things this year for the Christmas season.
Here's my big plea, guys. This is the last one for the year, and then we're done. The holiday season is the biggest time of year for the rescue mission. Here's what I need for Christmas. We're in need of hams, and not as many hams as turkeys. I only need about 200, 300 hams. Forgive me. So if I could get anyone out there listening could drop off hams at 1921 Canal Street. That's the main mission. Once again, that's 1921 Canal Street. That would be great. Here's another thing I'm in desperate need of. We distribute toys to needy children on Christmas Eve at this event, and some of my major toy donors have pulled out this year. Times are still tough for everybody out there, and I've lost these two major resources for toys. So I'm in desperate need of toys. So if you're listening out there, if you work at a company, you could be an individual, you could be a family, if you belong to a church or a club, give me a call at 209-658-9558, and I'll provide you with a barrel. I'll provide you with a flyer. You guys could collect the toys. Give me a call when the barrel's full. I will deliver. I will pick up. I'll help and assist in any way that you could collect toys for us.
So, again, your phone number is?
209-658-9558. My name's Phil Schmausch, Director of Marketing.
And we've got just another minute or so left here. Anything else you'd like to say, Phil?
No, I just want to tell everybody happy holidays, man. God bless. Take care of your family. Times are tough. And, just love on your neighbor. In the hustle and bustle of Christmas, it's easy to be distracted and occupied, but take time to slow down and see what surrounds you, like some of the needy people in Merced County.
All right. Phil Schmausch, Director of Marketing and Events for the Merced County Rescue Mission. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. I hope you're having a great day. Next up, we have Nancy Albritton, President of the St. Vincent de Paul Society of Atwater, here to talk about some of the Society's activities and events for the holidays. Nancy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So, let's see. What do you have going on for the holiday season out there in Atwater?
Well, we just finished our Thanksgiving, and we gave away 220 Thanksgiving boxes that contained enough food to have a Thanksgiving dinner. Mm-hmm. We will do the same thing for Christmas.
Okay.
So.
And how long have you been with this organization?
Oh, gee. About 5 years. Okay. I think about 5 years.
And what are some of the upcoming activities and events you have going on?
Well, what we do, we have a food pantry, and what we call a shed is which has clothing, and every day, Monday through Friday, we give away food. We have staples that we give away, and people can call in from 8 to 4 and make an appointment for that day, and then we come back at around 3 o'clock, and we give out boxes of food every day, Monday through Friday. And also we have our shed is clothing, and we have donated clothing, and you can come and get free clothing. So.
And where is that located?
That's also located at St. Anthony's Church.
Oh, they're on Winton Way.
Everything's on Winton Way at St. Anthony's Church.
Okay, and you have services in both Atwater and Winton?
Well, we come under Merced. We service Atwater and Winton, and then the St. Vincent de Paul in Merced services Merced.
Oh, I see. Okay. So kind of one big organization that services different areas in this area of the county.
Yeah, we're kind of under the Merced office.
So for Thanksgiving, you gave out 220 boxes of food.
Yes.
What about last year? You have any idea of what the services were like last year?
Basically the same thing. I don't think we gave out I think we gave out like 165 boxes last year. And over the year, our last year in our food pantry, we actually serviced 1,060 families, which consisted of 4,337 people.
Wow.
So that's what
affecting a lot of people's lives.
Oh yes, a lot. Yeah.
And so, are you in need of volunteers, or are you looking for donations?
Both.
Both. Okay.
We are all volunteers. We have no paid persons that work in Atwater with us. So we're all a group of volunteers.
And are there any specific donations that you guys look for?
No, not really. No, anything non-perishable food or.
And then
money.
lightly worn clothing, I'd imagine. You
Yes.
said that there's a need for clothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Also, when we have our days when we give out the Thanksgiving boxes and the Christmas boxes, we also have a room where we have clothing that they can get clothing. They can pick up their box and then come around and get clothing. So,
if folks are interested in donating or volunteering their time, how could they get in touch with you or another member of the organization?
Okay, they can call 357-1464. That is the St. Vincent de Paul's phone number.
And then St. Anthony's is located there on Winton Way.
On Winton Way.
Yeah, 1799 Winton Way.
Winton Way, yes.
Okay, we've got just another minute left here. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Nancy?
No, that's pretty much covers it, I think.
Okay, again, so if folks are interested in donating to the St. Vincent de Paul Society of Atwater, they can call 357-1464 or visit St. Anthony's at 1799 Winton Way.
Winton Way.
There in Atwater.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Nancy Alberton, President of the St. Vincent de Paul Society of Atwater.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Next up, we have Ed Banks, Battalion Chief with CAL FIRE, here to talk about some of the Merced County emergency services and things that they're doing to help get a notification system in place. Ed, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Glad to have you back on. We had a fun conversation last time, kind of to follow up on some of that. Let's talk about the Merced County Emergency Notification System. What exactly is that for folks who don't know what it is?
Well, it's a service that is authorized by Merced County departments and participating cities within the county. And with one call or a few clicks on a mouse, we're able to communicate with thousands of residences and businesses anywhere, anytime via phone, home phone, cell phone, business phone, or email address.
And how exactly does it work?
Well, initially, how the system works by if we had an emergency situation out there, and we'll say that if we had a hazardous material release, and we wanted to notify a certain group of citizens where this plume or this hazard material release is headed towards, we would identify that in a map on city streets, and then block those streets off in the system, and then send out an emergency notification to tell those folks to shelter in place, to not go outside the house, to stay inside the house until they're given further direction.
And how can folks sign up to receive these emergency notifications?
There is an opt-in through, if you go to the Merced County website, on the very front page, you'll see Emergency Notification System opt-in, which is the option to opt in and provide additional contact information. And what we have right now in place is we have all the landline phone numbers in the system right now. Mm-hmm. But as you know, that most everybody uses and operates off their cell phone. So that the cell phone would be another avenue to reach you or contact you in the event of emergency. Another method would be your email address. And if you have a cell phone and you can receive text messages, we can send you a text message too.
I can't imagine there's a cell phone out there that doesn't receive text messages anymore. They can do just about anything these days.
None that I know of. Yeah. So the resident or the community person living in that whatever community they're in, they can register in the system, and again provide and prioritize how they want to receive that notification. So if they enter their cell phone, they could use that as like the number one way to be notified. The email could be the second method. A text message could be the third method.
And so on.
And so on. Mm-hmm. And so as the system sends out the notification, it stops once the individual receives the message. And then the individual is asked to reply by either hitting 1 or hitting yes on that message, and then that message is sent back through the system, letting us know that the person received it. So it's not going to send you out 5 messages all at once. It'll start with the first one that you prioritized,
and then cycle through the other ones as far as the prioritization.
Correct.
Does this notification system replace a different notification system?
Oh, not at all. The Merced County Emergency Notification System is very, very enhanced to the system that it had replaced. So, but it doesn't replace any mass notification like television, radio, and that type of thing. I mean, you're still going to receive emergency notifications through those methods and medias. And then if there's emergency personnel at the scene and they direct you to evacuate, you still want to evacuate. We don't want you to wait to receive this notification. If you're given direction to evacuate, evacuate. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it completely does. Can people opt out of the emergency notification system?
Sure. Yeah, they sure can. Residents and businesses can, once they sign in and they don't want to, or they move out of the area and they don't want to be notified of any notifications, they can log back on with their password and then discontinue any of the notifications that they had registered, previously to.
And if this made absolutely no sense to anyone and they have more questions, how can they contact your office or the Office of Emergency Services?
Well, they can log on to the Merced County website. I believe that's www.mercedcounty.com. I believe.
I think if you just go to Google and type in Merced County, that's what I do. I go into Google, type in Merced County, and click on that first.
That certainly works for me as well. And but if once you're on the website, you can. There is a couple of links on that front page that will take you to the Office of Emergency Services webpage, and you can opt in from there.
Here we go. www.co.merced.ca.us, and that is quite a mouthful there, but that's Merced County's website. And then if you add a /alert, you can that will opt you in or out of the system.
Correct.
Or it'll bring you to that area which has a bunch of information about this.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, we just have another minute left here. Ed, anything that you'd like to share?
No, this is. I think the system not only is going to enhance what we have right now as far as making emergency notifications to the public, but there's also the in-house part of it where we can notify internal organizations like SWAT members and hazmat teams and rescue groups. We can alert them in the same manner, if you will, that we're doing with the citizens. So if we had an emergency somewhere in the county and we needed the hazmat team to respond to, we can do a group call, and we're using that method to alert our responders to get to the scene. So it certainly is. It's a much improved system than we previously have, and I think it's good value for everybody out there.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it, and it sounds like it is a better system that was previously in place. We are now out of time, but thanks for joining us, Ed Banks, Battalion Chief with CAL FIRE, and also with the Merced County Office of Emergency Services.
Perfect.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Our final guest this week is Maria Mendoza with the Office of Economic Development at the City of Merced, here to talk about recruiting new business. Maria, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, we only have a couple of minutes left. Sorry, we're running a little quick today, I guess. Let's just get right to the questions here. What dictates a business location decision here in Merced? What are some of the biggest factors that go into that?
Well, a lot of people think that we, the Office of Economic Development, could just go and talk to the CEO of a company and then bring them down the next day because we have a nice community. But there are many factors that go into it, basically demographics that include education levels, household incomes, and other things that we don't really think about, such as proximity to markets. If an industry is going to come in and make a product, well, how are they going to ship it out? Do they need rail? Do they need different types of maybe air cargo?
They need something like that.
Yeah,
okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. If they need an existing facility, do we have one? Do we have the land that's available that they need? I mean, it just depends on what their needs are and if we meet them. And then they go into researching the community, and if they're going to locate people here, they want their top management to like where they're living. So there's so many factors that go into a company coming in.
And when you talk about kind of the demographics of an area, I remember some years ago when I worked at the newspaper, we did a story on why Macy's wouldn't come here.
Yes.
And that was a huge thing, was just the median income. Same thing with Trader Joe's.
Exactly.
Not enough people, not a high enough median income.
Right. And it's not only the median income, it's education levels that they look at. So right now,
Merced doesn't fare very well with educational attainment.
Not right now. But that's why we have to work, to get our workforce ready, education-wise and everything else to attract these companies. Because when we meet with them, we could have the best relationship with them, which is part of what our office does. We try to build relationships with retailers and site location consultants and people that have the decision-making abilities for relocating businesses. But they ask us, well, what are your education levels? And if they're not where they need them, well, you know what? Let's wait till next year, even if they are looking. They want to make sure that their business is going to be successful wherever they locate.
So you work for the Office of Economic Development, and you had mentioned there that part of the mission of your office is to get relationships with retailers, try to entice them to come here.
Right.
Is that the main function? What else do you guys do there?
We kind of look at ourselves like information brokers. So let's just say that an industry has issued a request for information, and they want to know, they have a site in mind, and they want to know what the water connectivity is there, where can they get electricity, where are the connections at, and they want to know all of these things. What we do is try to facilitate that for them. We get the information for them to make it easy so that they have to do the least amount of work as possible to research our community, and so they have it in front of them. We also, we market the city. We're kind of like the city's cheerleaders. We go to trade shows such as the International Council of Shopping Centers, where we focus on retail recruitment. We also do some industrial trade shows where we get to meet like the corporate real estate executives for places that are looking to, locate somewhere. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of things, but we kind of work in the background, getting these things facilitated for people that are looking to maybe locate in our city.
What are some success stories?
White Oak Frozen Food at the old Arvincengo plant. Arvincengo went out of business because the Numi plant Fremont closed, so they had no need to be here. So we worked with he's a realtor out of Fresno. He introduced us to Arvincengo. We assembled Team Merced, we like to call it. So we had a roundtable discussion with Public Works. We brought development services. We brought the utilities companies. Merced's unique because we have PG&E and MID. A lot of places don't have that. We brought everybody around the table. We got it done. White Oak liked what we had. Our demographic fit their needs, and so that's our most recent one right now.
We just have another 2 minutes or so here left. I have one final question. What is a site locator?
A site locator is a headhunter of sorts. So industries will hire these site locators to go and do their homework for them. And the site locator will narrow down communities based on demographics and what the community has to offer. And they'll visit the communities and kind of narrow it down. They will shortlist them. And that's what we hope to be on the short list. Right. So if you've made the short list on a community with a site locator, it's because they're really interested in coming to the city.
What do you see as some of our best qualities? And the second part of that question, some of our emerging qualities, things that we haven't yet realized?
Well, right now, we are in a league of 10. We have the UC working for us. We're not a huge UC community yet, but the growth potential is there, and it will happen. It's just a matter of time. Also, we have a very our workforce, they're very good with their hands. So packaging, food processing, and all that, we're very capable of doing that. We're very open to business. I was in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago at the Society of Industrial and Office Realtors forum. And I ran into the realtor that introduced us to White Oak Frozen Food. And in front of everybody, he was saying, Merced knows how to do business. When I take my clients there, I know we're going to get the good treatment. We're going to get the information we need, and we're not going to have to wait weeks to get appointments with city officials. So, people look at that, and it's an important factor.
Do you think location plays into it also?
It does. It does. Because, if you need to be, like you said before, near a port, well, we're not that close. So, yeah, location really does play a huge factor.
We are now out of time, but thanks for coming on and talking about this. Maria Mendoza with the City of Merced's Office of Economic Development.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.